Thank you so much, Francis. Yes, we're still at the BRICS Summit, which officially kicks off today, and we thought we'd look at a range of things that the summit itself also addresses. One of those things is entrepreneurship and also the agricultural sector, and I've invited the CEO of Wild Coast Foods, Mr. Anele Mjemla, to come and chat to us about what he as an entrepreneur is expecting from a summit of this magnitude, and also his organization. When we talk about the agricultural sector in BRICS, what kind of opportunities are we looking for? What's possible? What is not? Mr. Mjemla, thank you so much for joining us on the SABC News channel. We've been having a great conversation off camera, and I've been asking you a simple question about the truth and the real facts about the opportunities that are there in BRICS countries for an aggregator such as yours, where you look at and work with a lot of small-scale farmers in the Eastern Cape. What are the prospects of opportunities and success for these farmers within BRICS?
Okay, thanks Liabo for the opportunity. So as Wild Coast Foods, we're really privileged to be on this platform where we're interacting with businesses across the 4 countries. And for Wild Coast Foods, really, we're here as the voice of the smallholder farmer. So if you imagine a farmer in a village as Lusikisiki, they can't sit in platforms like these. However, as Wild Coast Foods, as an aggregator of smallholder farmers, we have this opportunity to come and represent. However, it's not an easy journey because currently, as we speak, the BRICS countries import, amongst themselves, they import about $300 billion of food. And that's an opportunity that could devolve down to a smallholder farmer in the Eastern Cape, for instance. And those are things that we're working on. So by being here, we are afforded networking opportunities with various companies from Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Yeah. So that's what we're doing as we are here.
Yeah, let's talk about this report that I told you about, a new report that was released by the Pan-African Organization Accord that finds that Africa's smallholder farmers are not benefiting enough from the increasing Chinese, Brazilian, and Indian investment in the African culture. It further says the technology being promoted in Africa, such as irrigation equipment and tractors, tends to be more suited to Chinese, Brazilian, and Indian agribusiness interests than to Africa's smallholder farmers. Is this your experience as well? And are these the kind of talks that you're having with delegates, particularly those who are in the agriculture sector?
Yes, that's true. Those are experiences that every smallholder farmer across Africa is experiencing. And those are things that commissions such as this one will address. So there are various commissions, especially the agriculture one, that has members, permanent members, negotiating trade deals and policy and legislation changes. So we're hoping that post this conference we'll start seeing significant changes that will impact on these challenges that we're experiencing. And we really also haven't stopped there as Wild Coast Foods looking for opportunities. We look for opportunities beyond the BRICS countries and connect with other countries that are interested in developing the network of our smallholder farmers.
Yeah. Francis, as I speak to Mr. Mjemla here, upstairs in the main hall, Minister of Small Business and Development, Ms. Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams, is currently addressing the forum. But I wonder from Mr. Mjemla what your interaction has been with this department as an entrepreneur, one that can actually lead you to these markets that we seek to find through BRICS. Have you had an interaction with the Minister's office? What's your overall impression as an entrepreneur?
So we've had some interactions with the agencies of the ministry, such as SEDA and CIFA. And I must say our experience hasn't been that great. CIFA has funding available that they can afford to companies such as ours to fund smallholder farmer projects. And I think they just need to have open and transparent processes in terms of how they approve funding and how they interact with entrepreneurs and smallholder farmers in terms of approving funding. Funding is there, However, there are delays in terms of getting that funding where it's required.
There are a lot of entrepreneurs that are watching us today that want to be able to have this opportunity to engage with leaders of BRICS and other countries that want to join the BRICS nation. How would you advise them to network with purpose when you attend summits such as this? Not to just come and listen to what leaders are saying on stage, but how do you network with purpose?
Okay, so I think for an entrepreneur, the one key thing is for you to be curious, because the fact I'm here today is from my curiosity. Mm-hmm. So if I wasn't a curious entrepreneur and someone who wants to get out there and get things done, I don't think I would be sitting in this forum today. Right. So entrepreneurs need to be curious. You need to go out there, interact. Everyone that's in this forum is a human being just like you and I. And people are open. They started where we started with nothing. And they're open to really provide advice and network with you and provide you with opportunities. So if you hit a brick wall, just keep on trying, and eventually you'll succeed.
You'll succeed. There's a talk about a common BRICS currency, right? If that were to become a reality, how would that make your lives as an aggregator or Wild Coast Foods easier to bring in more small-scale farmers into the cohort, train them, and possibly find more new markets for them?
The BRICS currency is a great idea, and I think in terms of BRICS intertrading, it will make trading much easier. However, where we need to be at is accessing funding to uplift many more smallholder farmers. If you look at the Eastern Cape, for instance, there are great natural resources in the Eastern Cape. We have land resources, we have water resources, which are underutilized at the moment. And those areas in the Eastern Cape can grow any crops that can be exported across Africa and also across the BRICS countries.
At the end of this, Mr. Mjemla, what do you want to see from the summit that is more tangible? I mean, we have summits, we have meetings, we have forums, we have so many of these things. But what is what is your expectation from government about where you proceed from where you stand as an aggregator of smallholder farmers?
So for us, there are two things. The first, we've identified companies that have a great need for what we offer as smallholder farmers. So we will be meeting with that company is a big Chinese commodities trader. That's the first opportunity that we want to unlock for our smallholder farmers. They deal with commodities such as maize, oil seeds, and soybeans. So that's the first opportunity we want to close. However, from a government perspective, we want the government ministers and the presidents that are here today to sign on the dotted line in terms of action plans that will make sure that whatever they agree on devolves down to the smallholder farmer in a village in the Eastern Cape. So I'm really hoping that will happen, because it's been 10 years now. This BRICS Business Council has been ongoing, and I'm hoping that this is the final stage of that.
Let's hope that everything that you are hoping will come to pass. Francis, I've been speaking to the CEO of Wild Coast Foods, Mr. Anele Mjemla, and he has shared his views from an entrepreneurial point of view, which is quite important in a setting such as this one, where we want to hear what entrepreneurs are thinking and what their expectations indeed are. And also from the point of an aggregator of small-scale farmers, the expectation there. And he also talks interestingly about the benefits that something like a BRICS currency would bring to small-scale farmers and trading. And these are the kind of conversations we are having on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. I will be speaking to more entrepreneurs just to get their views on the summit and their expectation, just to drive the conversation forward. And with that, let me hand over back to you, studio.